Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
What if I whipped out just like some good old vocal range here? Just a little like opera.
I would love that. Follow-up question. What if God was one of us?
Why does it scare me every time is the thing.
Catholic guilt, probably?
I gotta go, actually. My mom's calling me. She says I can't be here anymore. I have homework
So you
to
actually
do.
can't hang out with strangers.
I'm not allowed to hang out with strangers anymore.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I'm not allowed. I actually have to go. Even though it's like raining and stormy here, I have a car wash that I have to get to. So
that's actually so fair. You know what? I'll just take it from here. We can I'll just do a solo show.
Is it bad that I kept thinking about the Sexy Fish movie the whole time while watching this? Because that's the only time that I've heard that working at the car wash song in the last 20 years.
Sure, yeah. The hit motion picture Shark Tale, yeah.
Thank you.
Right. I do like how you called it the Sexy Fish movie, though, and I did understand what you were saying.
What else do you, like, why was that fish so pretty? What was the reason? Why do you have a Jessica Rabbit fish? Like, what is that? Like, there's only, like, when you talk about two sexy fish, it's either her, right, the Jessica Rabbit fish, or the, like, sexy, handsome man with a story fish from Finding Nemo.
Oh, sure.
That everyone makes weird fan cams about.
Yeah, that's like the skinny zebrafish or whatever.
Exactly.
Has a tail to tell.
That's like the next generation Scar, you know?
Sure. I have to respect it.
Like everyone, these are like a generation beyond me, right? Like these are, I was already too old. I'd already imprinted on different animation characters by this point. But like,
who are also anthropomorphized.
But yeah, like I had already had that experience. But like, I feel like that's a canon event that you have to have.
You gotta have one, right? Like it unlocks a lot of doors.
Right. Yeah, like for me, it was Robin Hood.
True.
All characters, probably, of Robin Hood.
Yeah, just an equally hot cast across the board, for sure.
And it's just like, what was in the animation at that time? That it's like, we got to make animals hot, and you're going to have to deal with that later.
Right.
Reconcile with that.
Yeah. It's like, we don't have time to think of the consequences right now, but we do got to get these horny little creatures out there.
And then the next generation, now, when I have social media, I have to see people deal with the Jessica Rabbit fish, and then making fan cams about the zebrafish from Finding Nemo, and the hot car from Cars.
Yeah.
What's that? You can't imprint on a car.
You wouldn't.
You can't
imprint
download
on
a pizza.
Car.
And here I am shaming as if I didn't have a weird relationship with a fictional vampire.
Yeah. Listen.
That I now have a podcast about. You know what I mean?
Listen, when you're here, your family.
You yuck people's yums.
Also, we have shared, not trauma, I guess I would say. But shared lore, I guess. It's not trauma, it's lore. Sparkle emoji, you know? Like.
Oh, God. There's probably some drop shipper on Etsy that's making money on that, I'll tell you what.
Oh, for sure.
So welcome to the Twilight.
Ew.
You're safe here.
Yes.
Please, I actually do genuinely want to know what animated anthropomorphized character that you had a weird crush on growing up.
Yes.
So please tell me that before you tell me your name. We'll go around in a circle.
Yeah.
So hello, welcome. You're safe here.
Hey.
How are you? Welcome to November. Our podcast is old now.
Wow, yes. Happy November to us and our cracking bones. and the fall leaves.
It's Twilight month, by the way. Welcome.
Right, historically. So, feel the energy pulsating in your minds and spirits.
Grab a chair, disassociate. You're welcome here.
I want to talk about a show, okay?
Let's go!
Let's go. We're back. We're so back. We've never been more back. I want to talk about House of Villains, okay?
Okay.
This is a hot new reality show in which, you guessed it, everyone is a famous or at least notable reality TV show villain. Just like to get a real sense of the kind of debauchery in this house, we have Tiffany Pollard, aka New York. Wonderful.
Oh my god.
Love to see it. We have Shake from Love is Blind, who we all hate.
Oh no.
We have Omarosa, formerly of The Apprentice, and also formerly of the Trump White House.
Is she needing money? Is that why?
Damn. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, there is a cash prize. There are competitions. It's very, like, Big Brother-esque rules of, like, someone wins being, like, essentially an HOH, and they choose who goes on the block, and then they have a competition to take someone down, and then everyone votes for someone to leave, and it's very dramatic. Huge get. Corinne from The Bachelor. I'm obsessed.
Oh my god. Johnny Fairplay?
But Johnny Fairplay is here, and he's...
Oh no!
Who he is, so there's that.
Oh no. Aggressively okay. Fully earned the villain title, by the way.
Yes. Yep. Number one. You got it.
This is... Okay. I can tell that E was definitely like, fuck, we need content because we don't have the Kardashians anymore.
Right. Yeah.
I will say... I don't hate the concept.
No, and that's, like, it is a good idea. And also, this has infinite potential to go on forever, right? Like, because there's a lot of people that I'm like, why are there no, like, Big Brother people here, right? Like, why are there there's way more, like, Bachelor people we could crank out of here. So, I'm into it. They also, like, every week at a certain point, they bring in, like, a famed reality TV show villain to, like, give them a challenge, like, as a fun little thing. And some of those are Carol Baskin.
No, stop it.
And Abby Lee Miller.
No.
Who just rolls up to the mansion and it's like, dance for me, assholes. And it's great.
And if they don't, then she hits a button and they drop into the floor.
Right.
Into hell.
Thank you so much for bringing that up, actually. That's a great segue. Because the way they eliminate people is they put them in these very scary chairs in a basement. They look like thrones, and they tie them up, and when someone gets evicted, the whatever HOH equivalent hits the button and they flip up in the chair into the wall dramatically.
What? Is that legal?
That's like a fun. It's so fucked up.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on here. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm here.
Congrats.
I'm here. I am present in this space. I have an update.
Okay.
I have a happy thing that's like a squeakquel, some might say.
Some could say that, yeah.
This is both a squeakquel to something that I've brought in the past, and also a squeakquel to something that you have brought recently.
Ooh, a double squeak.
A double
squeak.
Which is that over the past week, I needed to pause on Go Piss Girl.
Yeah. Got to protect your heart and your brain.
But I was like, I still want to stay in New York. So what do I need to watch? And I was like, you know what? I need to watch something that's broken up with so many different ads. And I have Peacock with my internet. Anyway, so I've decided to go back into Real Housewives.
Yes.
I think it was last year I watched Real Housewives for the first time, and I started with the first show, which was Orange County. Mm-hmm. And I'm going in order. So I started from the jump with Roni, New York.
Yeah.
I told you that I was watching it, and you said, oh, the new season, the one I told you to watch. And I said, no, from the beginning.
Well, because I foolishly, I suppose, thought I just gave her a great entryway into the series that she doesn't have to know all this lore about, and it can be fun. And then you start texting me about Bethany, and I'm like, excuse me.
I said...
What do you mean,
well,
Bethany?
What if I start where they have shitty aspect ratios?
And that's brave. You know, you're going to go through 14 beautiful seasons of varying quality before you get to the one I talked about a week ago.
Listen, and I'll get there. Just give me 2 weeks and I'll get there.
Trust the process. Yeah.
I'll be there. Just give me like 2 weeks to catch up and I'll be right there with you. I'm so glad that if there's only been one piece of character development that I've had, which it is that I don't shame people for watching shitty reality television anymore. Yeah. Because huge. I need it in my life desperately now. Yeah. Of like every other aspect and area of my life is stressful and I have to make decisions. Mm-hmm. This is one area where I don't have to make decisions and I can just consume Roni like it's a National Geographic documentary.
Yes, absolutely.
And watch someone who calls herself a countess learn what goodwill is for the first time. What do you mean? What do you mean that you got 3 items of cashmere for $9 and you're cashmere. You're like almost 40 years old and was like, wow, goodwill. Like, what the fuck?
It's beautiful.
So anyways, is it good? Absolutely not. Are these people good? Absolutely not. Am I obsessed with it? Yes, I am. Yeah. This is the first time, I think it was the season 4 reunion that I ever heard Andy Cohen. And again, I'm new into this world, so don't judge me. But it's the first time I've ever heard Andy Cohen tell the women to shut up. And I was like,
it's happening.
I'm getting there. So I'm going to go in order of how the shows came out. I will say, though, I thought New York was the Vanderpump one. I thought that when that I was going to start understanding the whole, like, drama that came out with the Vanderpump thing. Sure. Yeah. I didn't realize that was Beverly Hills, so I got a wow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. You're on a beautiful journey.
So in like 2 years, I'll understand what happened this year. But
right, you're gonna have such riveting conversations about Scandal in 2 years.
So, anyways, it is very terrifying to watch them slowly get more and more cosmetic surgery done. Yeah. But you know, whatever. They got the money. They are choosing to do it. So whatever. Right. It's just scary. It's just scary to watch. It's just jarring to see happen all of a sudden, but that's okay. Hey, speaking of scary and jarring, we have a follow-up.
Yeah, we were a little premature last week.
Yeah.
In our talking about Mr. Robert Pattinson in The Boy and the Heron, the latest and quote-unquote final heavy quotes movie from Hayao Miyazaki. And we were like, the last he got cast. Tour. That's awesome. He's doing voice work. That's cool and new and exciting. And that's just a cool thing to be a part of. It's a stacked cast. Fuck yeah. Our boy.
Yeah. He's going to go in for a day, do some quick lines. It'll be great.
Right. Little did we know that this motherfucker put his whole pussy into this because the trailer dropped with the English dub. And he's the motherfucking Heron, first of all. Right. That's wild. Surely there was other people in that cast that seemed, on first glance, more suitable for that. But he pulled it out. That's the scariest sounds I've ever heard in my life.
I assumed it was such a stacked cast. I didn't think that he was going to be at the top of the poster.
Yeah. I was like, that's cool for my boy. He's just there. He's happy to be here. Should have had faith. Should have had more faith in this man.
I just didn't think that it was like he was going to be either the boy or the Heron.
Right.
And yet, fuck me for underestimating him.
Right.
And the absolute car crash sounds that he can make with his mouth.
It's so, like, what did he do? Like, what did he do? How did he do that?
I didn't know it was possible.
He's making a friend of the show, Allison of Boy Movies, thank you, stated that it was truly like she was hearing sounds she had never heard before, just completely new sounds. Honest to God. And it's true. It's true. These are completely new sounds. Nobody's ever experienced them in their lives. I'm so confused.
That is why I am at a loss for words right now, because there's no true way to describe how this heron sounds. And I've heard herons, I've seen herons before. I know what they sound like. I've also spent a significant chunk of my life hearing Robert's voice. Right. And that is not an exaggeration. Yeah. I know I could pick him out from a crowd. I watched that like teaser trailer or full trailer multiple times. Yeah. And I had to be told under the comments that was Robert.
Right. I had no clue. I watched and listened. I sat my ass down and listened. I was like, I looked and listened. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, surely this is our good pal Willem Dafoe doing some wild shit on the mic. Yeah. Truly, right? Maybe Dave Bautista does a funny voice, right? Surely. Rob? Excuse me? Hello?
I'm proud of him.
I'm so proud.
I think that this opens up an amazing new realm of possibilities for him. I just didn't know that he had it in him.
Right. He just needs to cement himself as that weird guy that does weird things in movies and shows. And it's just like, fuck it. Like, make your money, do your thing, whatever. But, like, this is the sweet spot, baby. This is the dream, Robert, right here. Just a freaky little goblin guy.
Get that boy in some fucking video games.
God. Yeah.
My God.
Oh. Get him in a mocap suit.
Oh my God.
Run around.
I feel like that, if anything, would be traumatizing for him.
After a little too close to home.
All the, like, dots for the sparkles. But that was, it was, I will say personally, horrifying, just because, I have bird stuff personally. Right. Yeah. But
you were very brave.
Thank you so much. But it made me more excited to watch this movie. Yeah. And I was already very excited. I just last week had no fucking idea what I was getting myself into.
Yeah. We were so innocent back then.
watching that trailer felt like being in a 4D theater. And I've never been in one of those, but that's how it felt. Yeah. I will say, I did see a very important question posed on TikTok this week that I did want to ask your thoughts on. It was posed by the creator, the Odd Cassidy. The question was, who do you think is faster, Edward Cullen or Lightning McQueen?
Fuck. I mean, it's a great question. There's a lot of science that needs to be done.
Correct. My initial thought is don't pit queens against each other.
So true. So true.
But I think the boring answer
is Lightning McQueen is a race car.
Is Lightning McQueen's a race car, right?
Right. But is that the safe choice? Is that the foolish choice? Is that choice not brave? Inspired?
Yeah, I guess I've never thought to consider or ask. I mean, has anyone ever asked Stephanie Meyer, like, what's the horsepower of a vampire?
Right. There's some serious gaps in our lore and knowledge here. We have questions that need to be answered. And who's going to do it? Do we have to do everything here? Why don't you just call Stephanie up, right?
I'm so tired of doing the work for her,
Yeah, it's like, do we have to create our own retcons of this? It's like, yeah, sure. Edward Cullen is faster than any car ever. just by pure spirit and adrenaline and vampire energy.
Right.
We can just say that. That could be true.
But if the Mythbusters come knocking on your door, Stephanie, can they scientifically bust that?
Unfortunately, Mythbusters are included in ACAB, so
but we can be the Mythbusters.
But we are not busting. We're not policing myths. We are creating beautiful, beautiful myths that could be real.
I'm gonna say
what
it's
are you
like
gonna do? Fact check us?
I just feel like if Edward Cullen has a horsepower of like 200, that's fucking wild.
But wouldn't it be so good?
That's just bananas.
I mean, have you seen how far and how fast the motion blur is when he does one?
That's true.
Can you just look at the empirical evidence we have already at our disposal. Okay?
I just feel like there would be some, like, with the amount of times that they ran from Forks to Alaska, and if they really just went on, like, fucking nitro boost, there would be some evidence on the Forks asphalt, you know?
Right. Yes. No, I agree. But I think, like, also, counterpoint, I want Lightning McQueen to be slower.
Think of the infrastructure, Cody!
I'm trying to...
Their taxes!
Listen. There is a caveat here, too, that is an important thing to consider, and that they do need to drive a very fast car in Italy. That is crucial to the lore. And they cannot, presumably, A, they could not outrace the car, but also B, they're in public, right? We see them being really fast in the woods,
right,
where no one's around, but they're just not out here on the track and field at the high school going.
But they should be.
We need to test this data. I would love it. But, yeah, if only they were a little less careful, maybe we'd have more evidence to see which is faster, like McQueen or Edward Cullen. But I guess we'll never know. There's no way to prove. One way or the other.
Here's what I want to see. I just need to see, for once and for all, I need to see Lightning McQueen and Edward race.
Yeah. Just settle the score.
Just, and
squash
again,
the beef.
Not to, just
they clearly have.
And again, not to pit my queens against each other. But just so that I have data, so I can finally sleep at night.
Just for scientific purposes only.
Correct. Can you imagine Edward having to stop at one of the pit stops? Just for a little, like, blood juice, you know?
Yeah, just to fuel up, you know?
Okay, I have to stop. This is too funny to me. Oh. Every time I think about the little, like, Italian, like, baby cars in cars, I cry a little bit because they're so cute.
They are very cute.
Okay, all right. So, previously, here's what you missed on Glee. Caroline is no longer she's no longer under the spell, TM, of Damon, finally. And that was at the end of the Founders Party where Stefan was sad and alone at the fountain, and Elena and Stefan got into like a weird fight, and there was a jewel,
a precious jewel, very important.
Yeah, they talked about that in the recap. Okay, this week, season 1, episode 5. You're undead to me.
Ayo, nice.
How'd this do you?
This episode, I have so many notes. This episode had so many things going on.
There were a lot of plots happening in this episode. They packed this full.
Yeah, they said, what if we started and continued and developed every plot and new ones in so many ways all at once?
Yeah.
Love to see it. I do love at the beginning. So, like, Damon's, like, trapped, right? Because Stefan's like, you're in baby jail. You can't, you're, like, putting too much attention on us. And you're really bad at covering up your tracks. And I can't trust you. So you gotta go hang out in the basement while I go do my shit. And he's not looking good. It's been like 3 days, but he's like, looks like he's dead, basically. And they have this very weird sepia overlay on top of all of those scenes for some reason. So he really looks gray. Bad. It's not very good. And then we get like weird, fun lore of if he doesn't consume blood for like, a couple weeks after that, at the same rate that he is doing now, he will just mummify and be a living still be alive. Corpse. Yeah, his skin will like emulsify and he will become like have mummy wrapping essentially, but he will be alive in there or like awake, whatever the terminology. So that's haunting. I hate that. That's really not great. Don't love that.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I preferred the lore in Twilight where we got those like, I think they were in Romania, where it was those two little creepy fuckers where they like sat and they became like stone, like gargoyles.
Yeah.
But mummifying?
Yeah.
No. No,
thanks.
Thank you.
No. Hate it. Nasty.
And it was all because like Stefan was like, I don't want to punish you, so I'm going to re-educate you. Let's talk about the prison industrial complex.
Right. So treatment, not trauma, baby. Let's go.
So I'm just going to not give you the thing that you need to sustain yourself, and I'll let you become a mummy, and we'll just reevaluate in 50 years. Okay, babe? Bye.
Right. That sounds like not like education, but I guess we all have different interpretations of that.
Sounds like punishment. Stefan, you little shit. Interesting choice. The sepia was too much. They used it a lot. And also, the way that the presumption of the, like, basement of this home is that they have, like, several of these little jails. Because where was the vervain?
Right. It's like, where did that go? Because that was a whole, like, he opened the door and it looked like it was wall to wall down there. And then also we have this literal prison cell with bars and everything. It's like, how big is this? What is going on here? What is the layout? We get a blueprint. I'm confused.
I need more information about this home. Stat. But we get none. What we get is Imogen Heap. Again.
Right. Hit him with a banger. Again.
It's just a little. Just an amuse bush.
Yeah.
I felt old. For a moment. And I don't know how I feel about this. But Jenna, cool aunt, apparently, Toad's fine with her 15-year-old nephew having sex and sleepovers.
Yeah.
In her home.
Interesting. Back in my day. Just
back in my day. Here's the thing. What I think I had a reaction to was just the lack of communication with Jeremy and Jenna.
Yeah.
There seemed to be no communication of like, here's what's cool in our home.
Right. Like, here the general, like, I'm not trying to be like that, but here just
I'm a cool parent.
Respect rules. Yeah, I'm the cool aunt parent. But no, she's just like chilling. And that's okay. Sure.
It was just more of a like absence of boundaries. That was the thing where it was like, I think Jeremy should know what the boundaries are in this home so that he feels like there isn't some neglect happening here. Y'all should be communicating.
Just a single conversation would suffice.
Yeah. We haven't seen Vicky or Matt's parents at all throughout this. Do they have parents?
Who can say?
Who can say? Who's to know? Very interesting.
Yeah. Jeremy's making me so sad this episode.
I have completely changed how I feel about Jeremy.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that to happen so soon. I love him. I want the best for him. It's very clear that he needs the lack of boundaries in his life is not helping him.
No. This is a guy who was very lost and unstable. And not having really good people around him.
No, and he's so clearly, like, still in it. He's still dealing with his trauma, and no one is paying attention to him.
Right, and Elena's like, first episode, what if we just got over it? What if we just, like, weren't sad about this anymore?
I just care about him, and I wish that someone would, like, actually pay attention to him, and it hurts me a lot. And I was not expecting to change how I felt about him so quickly. Oh, well. I feel happy that Caroline is not wearing shitty scarves anymore. That's a valid improvement. I don't know that it's even like just from a, like, costuming standpoint. Like, thank you for switching it up a little bit.
Right, like it was getting old, I think, at this point.
Right. The important thing about this episode that it centers on is this car wash fundraiser. Like, for the dead teacher. I don't know if it was were they fundraising for his, like costs for him? They just said it was for the teacher, but they didn't really say, like, for what.
I think they said it was for the athletic department, like, in his
good.
honor.
Like,
it didn't seem like it was for, like, his legal anything or, like, family, but I'm not sure.
Good. Yeah, the athletic departments always need more money. There's very obviously, like, ahead of the car wash and after, there's, like, weird beef with Elena and Stefan.
Yeah, the energy is not great.
Yeah, it seems to be centering on, like, between last episode and this episode, there were 4 days that have gone by.
Yeah.
And Stefan has not called Elena or talked to her at all.
Because he's too busy dealing with his brother. And she's like, for 4 days? Can send a text?
Right.
Which, valid question.
It is a valid question. And when Caroline asks about if Damon will be at the car wash, he's like, Damon's gone.
Yeah, he says it so, like, because his whole thing with Elaine is like, don't worry, I know things sound crazy and, like, unexplainable, but I promise there's a reason for everything, and I'm not just being a weirdo, but I just can't tell you yet, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, I'll explain everything later, don't worry about it. And then Caroline comes up and is like, hey, I need to talk to Damon because he's, like, really on my bad side and he deserves to, like, apologize to me. And he's like, oh, he's gone forever, it's over. And it's like, that is not a helpful these are two very different things we're doing here with the finality.
And Stefan is all like, Elena, I know that I've been really weird over these last 4 days, but, like, trust me. Mm-hmm. Just go to the grill after school. I'll meet you there 4 o'clock sharp. I
definitely won't be an hour late.
No.
I respect you and your time.
Right. And so apparently when he's an hour late, Elena decides to still stay there and plays pool for an hour with Matt.
Yeah.
A whole hour. Weird.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Great. Also, apparently all Matt does is play football and then stays at the grill to watch his sister. Weird, but okay.
That's his life. After Elena, he just hangs out at the grill 24/7.
He's just an NPC, but okay, cool. Yeah.
It's like, how about you get a job here, dude? Like, what if you just... You're spending all this time here anyway.
Why don't you just make some money? But, alright. Damon is, like, running on low battery at this point.
He's like 1%, for sure.
And Zach, poor Zach, is... I love him. I worried about him, but I love him. He's like, he goes over to Damon's cell and is like, listen, I might be physically shaking right now, but I'm not scared of you, Damon. I've been putting vervain in my coffee for 16 years, so you can't, like,
Don't
if
fuck
you try
with
to
me.
kill me, if you try to kill me, you'll kill yourself. So don't do it.
Yeah, which power move.
It's great. But Damon still tries, which is a bad move on his part, but whatever.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, I don't know how, but Stefan was there and was like, hey.
Get off them.
So stop it.
Like, this poor guy, too, is like, because Damon's definitely trying to appeal to being like, we're family. And he's like, no, we're not. Like, you just pop in sometimes and say, hey, this is actually my house. Remember that? I own you, bitch, forever.
Yeah, that's not really what family does. Zach even says, like, you're permitting me to live here. That's not really, we don't really have, like, a vibey relationship here. So, no thank you.
No thank you.
I don't like this conversation between Stefan and Elena. Stefan is a really shitty liar.
Yeah.
Elena can see right through it. It's just bad.
Right, and she keeps being like, I know something is weird, and you're being weird, and you say you're gonna tell me stuff, and then every time a weird thing happens, like this dude shows up, or the grandfather is like, I know you, I recognize you, and he's like, don't worry about it, that was fine and nothing, it's cool. It's like, homie, she's on to you, can we just say anything?
You obviously want to be with her or have her around
right
for a while. So why don't you just tell her?
Just like a crumb of information, you know? It doesn't even have to be all of it. Just something to keep her being like, you are not just a full liar forever.
Especially because I think that at any opportunity, Damon will spill the beans.
Yeah.
And so it'll be better if it comes from Stefan.
Yeah.
Or worse, how this ends, which is that, of course, like, Elena finally puts it together.
Yeah.
And it would have been better if he had just, well, I don't know if it had been better, but like...
Maybe a little more well-received, for sure.
Right.
Come have a conversation.
Not been, I think she even says it, like, a vague non-answer this whole time. So, not great.
Not great.
How did you feel about the chicken parm moment where he, like, comes to her house?
Okay, the editing here in this program is so interesting and fabulous, because we also get, like, not like lore, but more tidbits of being like, making garlic bread, and she's like, I'm not eating all this garlic by myself, like, this is for the garlic bread, right? Like, we're both gonna eat this. And he's like, yeah, I love garlic. It's like, okay, interesting. Jotting that down.
There is, the amount of lore that they drop in about Stefan here is overwhelming.
Yeah.
I would say. One, because I agree, the editing here is buck wild. Because all of this is happening when he is, like, aggressively cutting Parmesan. Or not
right.
Parmesan, mozzarella. It's terrifying.
Yeah. There's a lot happening.
So he's like, she comes downstairs, because Jeremy's like, you look like shit, go downstairs and eat something. She's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, ew. And Stefan being like, you should know who you're dumping. And of course it's Italian food because, like,
it's like, I want to talk to you about my favorite Scorsese movie.
Okay, listen.
The bands that I love.
He has the taste, like, this is the worst Hinge profile I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty vile.
So F. Scott, like,
his masterpiece, The Great Gatsby. Thank you.
Ew.
Sir.
Okay, great. Seinfeld, though? Hello?
Yeah.
This man?
No way has he watched Seinfeld ever.
There's no way. He just looked that up online. The I Love Lucy, obviously, I knew that. But Scorsese, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sure.
Just dumping a lot. This is like a Mad Libs right now.
I feel like he just pulled anything. Like, he he just looked up everything that he could Google and just, like, grabbed a couple. Because
What
Bob
do
Dylan
dudes
doesn't
like?
surprise me. What do guys like? Jimi Hendrix, no. Patsy Cline, yes. Willie Nelson, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Kanye,
Right.
no.
Right.
No.
Look at this guy. Come on.
Now, Party in the USA is a national banger, so of course he likes that.
Right. But that's just the power of Miley.
Right, that's just because of course he does. So, the garlic, though, is a very interesting choice.
Yeah, it's like, okay. And then Elena has to go and, accidentally slices her finger a little bit and bleeds.
But apparently it's not that bad because they just start smooching and she doesn't even get a Band-Aid. So, apparently it's fine.
Yeah, everything's good and chill in the house. Don't even worry about it.
Did you also almost die when 303 came on?
I literally have in my notes 303 jump scare. Verbatim.
But it's perfect. Like,
no, it's absolutely
actually
the mood. Listen, I was there. We were there. Right. Deep lore about me, saw them at Warped Tour in Connecticut, which is a wild string of words. And somewhere I do probably still own a rainbow tie-dyed t-shirt with the 303 hands on them that I got from Warped Tour.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Not only is it accurate for the time, but that's absolutely a song that would come on during a car wash fundraiser.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's everything about it makes sense.
Yeah.
What I hated was Elena being like, "Oh my gosh, I'm just such a quirky girl. I don't know how to take a Henley off." Wow.
I'm just like not a car girl.
Didn't like that.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I can get over it.
Yeah. We gotta talk about Bonnie, okay?
I know. I love her so much. I don't understand why no one is friends with her.
Yeah,
I want to be friends with her so bad.
Mean. God, she's being so disrespected for having what? Charisma, beauty, talent, a good attitude.
I care about her so much.
She's being nailed to the cross right here. I don't understand it. It's fucked up.
It hurts me that, like, why are they making her do all the boring stuff? And when she says, "Hey, I don't want to do the boring stuff," then they get mad.
Yeah, they're like, "Fuck you, actually." And Bonnie's like, "Okay, word. I'm gonna control shit with my mind."
I feel bad that it hasn't clicked for her yet that her emotions influence her powers.
Yeah.
So I feel bad about that. But we'll get there. We'll get there, Bonnie.
Yeah. It did look very cool when that car lit up on fire and she was like I mean, definitely like blacked out. She was like in a trance, right, for sure. But so not really great, but it was very impressive with her mind.
I thought it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Go off, Quinn.
I love her. I love her so much. And I'm very glad that Stefan was there to be like, not judgy. Just be like, "Hey, Bonnie, you good?"
Right. Just checking in on my friend.
Just making sure that my friend is okay. And she was not okay.
No.
But I'm just grateful that someone who was there who, like, knew but wasn't going to, hurt her or harm her was there. Because I just care about her so much. There are two very weird things that are happening. One, I don't like Logan. I don't like him at all.
He stinks.
He's also bad at his job, which is not good.
Right. Yeah. He's the town's one reporter, and he's not very good, it seems like. And also just, like, allows Elena to, like, be alone in his office. Right. To look up the archives. Like, homie. This girl's a child. For, like, goodwill with her aunt. Okay. Gross.
I don't like it. I don't trust this man. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I also... Vibes. I also don't like the bad vibes of Vicky that's going on here.
Yeah, Vicky is not a good influence or person.
She's going through it.
Yes.
I can recognize that.
Absolutely.
And also say that I don't want her near Jeremy.
Yeah. Not a good time for that, you know?
No.
Not a good energy to be around.
Because, Vicky, I get it.
Hey, girl.
Hey, I get it. But also, why would it be appropriate to take your situationship's sister's pain pills?
Yeah.
Take some there. And then steal them. Crime.
Right.
Crime.
just
all
a
the
crime.
crimes.
Yeah.
And at the cemetery, Vicky,
come on. Vicky.
you're not even providing offerings for the dead. You are just on them. You are partying on them.
Right. Yes.
You're not inviting them. What's that?
Yeah. It's fucked up.
I don't like it. I don't like how many people in this town have decided that the cemetery is their hanging out spot.
Yeah, there was like a lot of friends there. Like a good amount of people.
And then they're gonna like shame Jeremy for being like, hey, this is weird, actually.
Right. And like, what are you, a pussy? He's like, I guess.
I guess.
I do hate this. I do hate this a lot. Not feeling good about this.
I'm not feeling good about it. I'm also not feeling good about the fact that about anything that Damon's doing in this episode.
Yeah. Because of course, Stefan, he leaves him alone for a second.
Yeah, he's like, I need to go
shit.
be with the youths, and I need to go diligently wash these cars.
Right. And I need my girlfriend to think I am not just hanging out with you in my prison of my home all
Correct.
day, every day.
And he's very diligently doing it. He does not notice that Caroline's gone. He doesn't notice that Elena's gone.
Right.
He gets really focused on it.
He's really good. He's doing a great job.
Right. But he doesn't notice that Caroline goes in to the school and then gets compulsed to just walk however many miles it is.
Like, so long.
Right.
And she's like, hey, why am I here?
Right.
What happened? He's like, anything you think is because I want you to think it, bitch. It's like, I hate this. This sucks. This is no good.
In the worst thing that I've ever read about trauma, Damon says, you remember what I want you to remember.
Yeah.
So, I mean, thank you, writers, but also, hey, no.
Hate that.
Hate that. And I also want to pour one out for Zach, because I liked him and he was too pretty to die.
He was very pretty, and he should have just been able to live in his beautiful home and live a life. But
he just wanted to garden and read.
God. And drink tea and coffee.
Right.
Is that a crime?
And drink his weed-laced consumables. Is that too much to ask for?
Right. Is that a life worth stopping? God.
Apparently it's a crime to Damon. But he was bamboozled. He was bamboozled by a rug. He was bamboozled by sun. God. And
also, I think this is back to when Carolyn was there first, because she does not open the door, as we mentioned. But there's a line delivery there that haunted me, where he says, please, you're gonna open the door. Like, he's so, like, it's like a weird, gravelly, almost Jennifer Coolidge desperation.
It's great.
And he says it several times, and it's very, like, obviously his voice is a little bit different because he's fully malnourished and dying, but it is very scary.
Ian acted his heart out.
He put his whole pussy in there, and I have to respect it.
It was hard to visually see because he was drowned out by the sepia, but he was working.
Yeah, I couldn't see a damn thing in any of the scenes, but he made up for it in just raw vocal performance.
True. Yep. So thankfully Caroline is alive, but she's not well.
No.
I'll say that.
No, I'm not doing so good.
But I'll take alive right now.
Baby steps.
Yeah, we'll take that. What else? Oh, I just want to give a small shout out because this stood out to me. When Elena was watching the news footage from the 50s, the newscaster's name was Franklin Fell. And there was just something about the, like, acting of the fake news footage that I just thought was really charming.
It's so funny because, like, they're clearly be like, let's just put, like, a very grainy, not even good looking overlay on it and black and white and be like, that's the 50s, we did it.
We're gonna talk in this
there.
transatlantic accent. It was so funny.
Yeah. And he's like, is that the nephew? Like, ha-cha-cha-cha. And then you see literal Stefan, so blurry in the background, staring directly into the camera. So, like, first of all, buddy.
So bad.
If you're trying to not get caught, maybe stay inside. Maybe not look directly into the camera. And you were 100
years old. Yeah. At this point, you know better.
You've been around the block, okay? So, like, what is going on here?
Like, video footage has been around for a good while at this point. Right. You know better. Embarrassing. God. Embarrassing. Come on. Small tidbits that we found out.
Yes.
The rings, lapis lazuli, not great. Yeah. They come from the Italian Renaissance. Interesting. What else? Oh, Caroline's dad is gay. I don't think we knew that before.
That line drop, I screamed. It's like Caroline is sad in her bed, not doing hot. Her sheriff mom comes in. It's like, hey, baby, you want to talk about anything? Having any boy problems? We could chat about it. And she's like, actually, Mom, if I were to talk about boys, I'd talk with my dad because at least he's successfully dating one. Mic drop. And I was gagged. It was perfect. It was everything.
It was beautiful. She still has the crystal. It looks like a topaz, but she has it hanging up on like a coat rack that's in her room. Yeah. And there's a moment near the end where light shines through, and it shines in this like pentagram. Fun. Whatever the fuck that means.
That's a cool little feature.
We'll deal with that later. Bonnie goes to see her Grams.
Yeah, talk it out, girl.
So we now know.
Figure your shit out.
Yeah, we now know there is a Grams. So excited to learn more. I hope that we actually get to like have Grams in multiple episodes now.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was mentioned like way earlier in the episode, but like the whole reason why Logan let Elena look at that footage was because he was like, I want to do dinner at your house tonight. Because he's trying to steal that fucking pocket watch, which he did.
Evil man.
And Jeremy didn't catch him doing it, but he caught him upstairs, and he was like, what the fuck? But
yeah, it's like, why are you upstairs? Like, my room is right there. What is going on? Yeah. And he's like, sorry, just needed the bathroom. And it's like, that's suspicious as fuck, dude.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't believe you.
Elena does have her crisis. She does the equivalent of Bella Googling.
Yeah, she does a Google. The equations are popping up in her head. She's like, am I being fully gaslit? Or am I hallucinating like no other? And the answer is the former.
The end of the episode definitely sets up the whole, like, how long have you been 17? So I'm excited for that.
God, I need it.
The end of this episode, though, fucking... Oh, God. So Vicky apparently has been in the cemetery for hours at this point.
Yeah.
The music stops. Damon's there. And he bites Vicky again. Is she gonna actually die this time? Because that's so fucked up.
I'm scared.
And so that is happening. And at the same time, Stefan grabs this knife, which we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's the, like, I'm gonna kill a vampire knife. But he can't get out the door because Elena's there to be like, how long have you been 17?
Right. Who the fuck are you, man?
Yeah. So I'm scared because next episode, I don't know if you saw, but in the notes, I put a photo preview of what next week is. So it's called Lost Girls.
Oh, no.
But it looks like a flashback episode.
Oh, God. Yeah, look at that hair. Look at the suspense.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is fucked up. Oh, no.
I'm so scared.
Yeah.
They're just Stefan's showing just a little bit of that chest. I'm nervous. But at least now we might not be fully living in secret. Because I hate that part.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more interesting in a book, but right now it's just like...
Yeah, I'm like, I'm bored.
Just shut up. But I'm very interested. I'm very interested to see.
I would like to see it.
I would like to see it. We have some amazing patrons to thank. Do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Katya Cart.
Ow. Thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ooh, thank you to Shannon Clearwater.
Pew, pew. Thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Ooh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ow. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh, thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Laura Forty.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Oh. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Emily O'Zara.
Ooh, I have a fan fiction for you.
Oh, man.
This is by the author Fading Tales. It is titled Bloody Roses.
Okay.
The summary is Blair Waldorf and Damon Salvatore through the heartaches and the heartaches of life.
Oh my god. What?
And this was published in January of 2010.
Beautiful.
So, there are no chapters in this.
Wonderful.
All right. He'd always show up at the wrong time in her life when it was falling apart. Maybe that made it the right time. The time when she'd need him most. She hated showing him her miserable rich girl act. Not that he ever complained, but she hated it all the same. 2 years have gone by since Blair Waldorf met Damon Salvatore. 2 years for her to fall out of love with Nate, into lust with Chuck, and then back into love with Nate after Chuck ruined her cotillion, only to have her dirty laundry aired out for the entire city to see and lose them both. She cries herself to sleep, wondering why it is that she can't ever hold on to love. She blames no one but herself. About 500 miles away, Damon struggles with his brother and the doppelganger of his first love. He thought it could be different this time around, to rewrite history. He's tired of being second best to the people he loves. He hides his anguish by killing some meaningless townsfolk. It's a cry for bloody fucking attention, not that Stefan ever really cared about anyone but himself. He goes back to New York when he can't handle it all anymore. They're both complete messes, but they're messes together. End scene.
God. Okay. I see the vision. All right.
I feel like they're mirrors of each other. Like when I'm watching both of these together, they're like the same character.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The parallels. Incredible.
CW knew what they were doing.
Yeah. They were planting a seed. Okay.
Right. But that would be too much.
Right.
Too much power to happen. Oh my goodness. Well, friends, enjoy the renaissance that's happening right now. Now that Twilight is back in the news, it's our Twilight month, and I see that Hunger Games is back in the news as well. I have a new reality TV show. I have a new reality show to watch, so I will get started on that. But tell your friends about the show.
Yeah.
And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.